Welcome to the show, Joli Valenti. You and your late father, Dino Valenti, have written and been published by many artists spanning over 50 years. These include Joe Fatt and Garth Brooks, to name just a couple. Your late father authored what is considered to be the national anthem of the 60s generation, which was Get Together, made famous by the Youngbloods in 1969. Wow. You are currently writing for Universal Music Publishing Group. In actual fact, you are, I believe, in Universal Studios right now. So welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us, and please do tell us more.
I would do anything for Skyler. Skyler's a sweetheart, man. I love him. We go back since we were kids.
Can you tell us like a little bit of the backstory? You guys working together in the past?
Oh yeah. Well, he was playing in a band with I think Dick Bryant. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I was an opening act for the Dick Bryant show once at the Fillmore. And then the next time we met, we were on an airplane sitting across from each other.
That's right.
We had our kids.
Yeah.
I said, "Is your name Skyler?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, we just played with you last year. Remember that?" And he said, I do. And I was playing with Quicksilver Messenger Service at the time. And it was my dad's band. And when he passed away, I had refused to play. For a long time, they wanted me to sing my dad's parts, but I was doing my own thing. And then I ended up with Quicksilver after a few years. And Skyler and I ended up on the road on a couple of trips here together. And we ran into each other in New York once, and I think it was London.
Yeah.
At Shepherd's Bush.
Wow.
K West Hotel. We barely got to say hello to each other. I was playing with a guy named Narada Michael Walden.
Yeah.
Who is friends with Skyler as well. He was a mega producer. And Skyler and I became friends. And after a little while, we decided we wanted to write together. And at the time, there was a big crackdown on cannabis. And we had put our heads together, and we both decided that it was time for somebody to write a song about the good nature and the structure and the meaning and the health advantages of cannabis for people who were sick.
Yeah.
We put our heads together and we came up with a pretty damn good song.
When Joli and I was writing this song, we could not stop laughing. The song is hilarious, right?
It is, especially the lyrics that aren't on it. We had a good fun.
Oh.
We had good fun. We realized that some of them we just couldn't put on there, but
sounds like an uncut version needs to be put
who's got
out
the
there,
masters of that?
Yes,
Who's got the masters? Can we listen?
Well, we realized that it was bigger than us, so we didn't make it a comedy. We made it. It was a pretty serious effort to say what really needs to be done.
The song's called "Smoking to Free My Pain," right?
But it's a great song. It's no
song.
doubt about it. Now, the interesting thing is, we started to write that. I told Skyler that the very first song ever recorded that was ever on the radio to speak about marijuana was my dad's song, "What About Me?"
Wow.
The song "What About Me" has a line in it that goes, "I smoke marijuana, but I can't get behind your laws. Your rules and regulations are against all of my flaws. I'm a fugitive from injustice, just trying to be free. And your rules and regulations don't do a goddamn thing for me." That was the first time that I smoked marijuana was ever said, way before T-Pain or Fat Joe or Snoop Dogg or any of those boys. 1966, there was a song called "What About Me," which became 6th on the charts. And it was, oh, what you gonna do about me? Yeah. I smoke marijuana, but I can't get behind your walls, your rules and regulations, against most of my laws. I'm a fugitive from injustice, just trying to be free, and your rules and regulations, goddamn thing for me. Oh, what you gonna do about me? Yeah. I'll tell you what they did about him. In 1967, he was caught with marijuana in San Francisco in North Beach, and they threw him in prison for 3 years. They said, "Mr. Valenti, what are we going to do about you?" My dad went to San Quentin for 3 years, and that's where I used to go visit him. I'd sit on that. He'd have these conjugal visits, and I'd wait outside on that little diamond plate step. I was 8. My mama would drop me off, and then I'd go back. He said, "Tell your mama I love her." And I go back, and my mama said, how's Daddy doing? I say, he's fine. I don't know if I told you this, Skyler, but they were playing in Miami.
Yeah.
At the university, 100,000 seats. And the military police said, if you guys sing that song, What About Me, the marijuana song, you're going to jail.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So they got to the third song. It was doing Fresh Air. Have another hit, Fresh Air, which is a big hit.
Yeah.
And all the people in the audience were going, what about me? What about me?
Uh-oh.
What about me?
Yeah.
And so they looked at each other, and he and John Cipollina and Gary Duncan said, at Freiburg, said, let's do it. And so they did it. And when they got to the part, they said, I smoke marijuana.
They went crazy.
Walked right on stage and took him to jail. Locked him up, put him in handcuffs, and walked him right off the stage. And the whole place went nuts. Took him down to the jail, locked him up overnight, and they did some time. They're just singing I Smoke. And when you put that in context with with rap and hippie music today, it's so prehistoric to have thrown somebody in prison for that, especially for 3 years.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Skyler, you know Marin County though, they don't play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but now 22 states. I just saw today that it's about to be legal in Maui. That's going to be the 22nd state, right?
Well, you know what's funny is in Northern California, every county but Mendocino has gone to 69% of the growers are now legal growers. Mendocino, the train is stopped, and only 1% of all the growers have a license.
Oh wow! Well,
they're screwing with them. They're messing with them hard.
Yeah,
hey, Skyler, you're starting to look a little like George Clinton. What's up, baby?
No. Don't go there.
You're looking hippie rock.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the hippie days.
Is that some gray on your face?
I'm 67. I'm allowed to have gray hair. Yeah, I miss you, man. I love you too.
I'll be out your way. I'll come see you.
No, and I'll be over your way. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So I'm working on a sub-publishing deal with Europe and England. Linda Shelgren from Universal Music Group, who's retired, is my licensing agent, and that's just what kind of along the question that the guys were asking me.
Okay.
What we're doing today, my dad's catalog and my catalog have gained notoriety to the point where, Universal's so big. I love them, but I took every song but Get Together away, and I brought it to Linda Shelgren, who retired from Universal. She has 3 clients. She has Al Green, the Beach Boys, and me.
I love it.
Yeah, when you just mentioned your catalog and your dad's catalog, is that Quicksilver Messenger Service in particular?
You'll be happy to know it's more than that. It's something incredible. Clive Davis did an album with Dino Valenti in 1964. Okay. Those are called the lost tapes. The tapes were lost.
Wow.
And I did a gig with Grateful Dead. I was singing for Jefferson Airplane the last 9 years before pandemic. I took Marty Ballin's place, and I was doing this gig. I walked off stage, and this man walks up to me. He's a wine guy. He said, "Listen, man, there's this couple who wants to meet you. They have something important to tell you." And that couple had a storage unit in Santa Rosa, California, and they had all these tapes that were missing for 40 years.
Wow.
And I went there to buy them from them. I was going to give them every penny I had, and they gave them to me for nothing and fed me spaghetti. Told me, they belong to you, son. You do what you do. So I put out an album called The Lost Tapes of only half the stuff. Yeah, I didn't put it out big. I just wanted to taste the waters. But the songs from the Dino Valenti Lost Tapes that I have are far better than the Quicksilver songs. The Quicksilver songs make a lot of money. Yeah, I would love to have a sub-publisher in Europe.
Yeah.
I asked because as a branding guy, right? Those album covers are just that era, so iconic, the art and things like that. I was just wondering, like, how can we get these album covers and things like that?
That was Stanley Mouse, and dear friend of mine, Stanley Mouse. Okay. And Skyler knows this. Stanley Mouse is, I'd say, touted as the greatest 60s poster artist of all time for the Bill Graham collection. Icon. And he lives about 20 minutes from some property that I own, and I see him quite often. Quite often. He's the greatest artist I know, and he doesn't just do poster art and album covers. He does extremely intricate, wonderful art. And he went by the name Mouse because his personality is that nature. You can barely get the guy to talk. He's so humble, and he gives credit a lot to other people like Rick Griffin and Moscaso. And but it's really him.
Okay, so those are all
times.
Those are all Stanley's work. Those album covers. That's amazing.
Rick Griffin did a couple, and then Moscoso, and they're all friends of mine. All 5 of those guys I've known since I was 6 years old, because I was my dad's living roadie. In fact, nobody knew my name. They just said my dad would introduce me as my kid, so everybody just called me the kid. And occasionally they'd say, "Your name's not really Kid, is it?" I'd say, "No, it's not."
That's funny.
But that's how I ended up singing for Jefferson Airplane, was when Marty Ballin had his quadruple bypass in Philadelphia. I was playing with Gloria Gaynor in London, and the manager called me and said, "Hey, we want you to sing for Airplane." I said, "Well, what's wrong with Marty?" "Marty's the one who wants you to sing for Airplane."
Wow.
Yes.
And Marty was the one who said, "Joli knows all the words. He's the only guy that sings that high." And I love him like a brother. And he was more like an uncle to me. And so I said, "Well, I'm making a lot of money." And the guy said, "Well, how about $1,200 and $250 per diem a night?" So I got on a plane. For the next 9 years, I was making that $1,500 to $2,000 a night. And, playing with Paul Kantner and all the guys. There are 2 Jefferson Starships. There's only 1 member in each, and they're suing each other.
They're suing each other.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
But I was playing with Jefferson Airplane, and we had 4 original members. Darby Slick, Prairie Prince, Peter Kalkinen, occasionally Tom Constant from the Grateful Dead on keyboards. It's called Craig Chiquisto's Starship and David Freiberg's Starship. They're suing each other. I stay out of that because both those guys I've known since I was a little boy, and I love them both. I prefer to be neutral.
That's it, absolutely. Well, as you mentioned already, Jefferson Airplane there, your career spans 50 years. Is there any kind of standout moments you've had?
I will tell you this. When I went to Ukraine, I went and played in Ukraine after they seceded from Russia. And you know what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
So it brings my heartstrings tighter to this one moment. When I got out there, Narada Michael Wallen and I flew out. We played in Russia, we played in Moscow, we played in St. Petersburg, and then we flew to Ukraine on this little tiny plane that scared the shit out of us. And we got off the plane. They never looked through our luggage. They never looked through our baggage. They took us right around all that checking thing. We were late for the gig. We did the radio interview, and we went to the Krustyanik, which is in downtown Kiev. And it is the most beautiful little city. There are 11 million people in Kiev then. There are 13 million people there were 13 million people in Kiev. And I went out to an ocean of people. There were 400,000 people in the audience and didn't speak a word of English. But when we sang Get Together, 400,000 Ukrainians sang the words back to me, and I cried.
Wow.
I'm sure.
And it breaks my heart to see what's going on today. And I've donated a lot of money and spent a lot of time talking to reporters over there and I set up a vegetable thoroughfare with gardeners. Some friends of mine and I, we put together a thoroughfare for fresh produce to some of the more dilapidated areas. And I feel like I haven't done enough. It just breaks my heart. And the other moment I'd say, it's pretty simple. Playing BB King's and then have BB King come up and play next to me. And the bass player, Mario Cipollina, remember him?
Yeah.
Mario said, "Joli, what songs you we playing?" I said, "BB King songs, dumbass." And I'm sitting there, like right here, right there. And BB King sits on a chair with Lucille and played 3 songs next to me.
Wow.
And I personally forgot some words because I was starstruck. I don't get starstruck that often, but sitting there watching BB King and pretty much what was one of his last few years, sitting next to me and smiling at me, and turning around and saying, "Come on, Joli, sing the song." I said, "Oh, I forgot." I lost the moment, effed up, and
Wow.
And I effed up, man. And that was one of those other moments, man.
Yeah.
And I'd say one of the more incredible moments was with Gloria Gaynor playing for the World Peace Music Awards in Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Korea, Japan, China. Her song "I Will Survive"
Yeah.
represented a lot of dilapidated, messed up countries because that was their national anthem.
Wow.
Right.
Dig?
Wow.
And we were playing in Vietnam, and lo and behold, same thing up in Hanoi, the more northernmost communist port. I get together. That gig was Lionel Richie, Hootie and the Blowfish, Gloria Gaynor, and a little tiny band no one had ever heard of at the time called the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh yeah.
And me and Fergie and the boys hang out because they were more my age. But we got up and to get together in Vietnam, Skyler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the people in the audience sang the words back to me.
That song is iconic, man. That's your dad. Your dad wrote a super hit for you know what I mean. But check this out.
Do you know that when he and my mother were together, she got sick of him singing that chorus over and over for years. And he made a conga for the beat, and he'd just go, "Come on, people." He had that part for years, and she was like, "When are you going to finish the damn song?" So one day, I woke up in '61, and she said, "Listen." I was 1 year old at the time. She said, "Listen, we're going to go see this speaker who's going to speak in the North part of the American country for the first time ever. Let's go see the speaker." And they went. He didn't want to go. They were in the Greenwich Village, and they went up to the Boston Commons.
Yeah,
it was an unscheduled visit for Martin Luther King, who was up there for a funeral. Walked out to the Boston Commons and spoke for an hour and a half. And on the train ride home, my father wrote the rest of the lyrics to Get Together. Was so inspired by Martin Luther King.
Wow.
Was scribbling away feverishly on paper and notes and napkins and paper towels and everything you could find on that train. And my mom said he finished the song by the time they got off that train.
What I love is this is music for global change. So what you're telling us right now, that's a social conscious song. Mm-hmm. He was ahead of his time, right? And God bless him for that.
Do you have any advice for young artists out here these days? Maybe things that they take for granted, you know what I mean, that you've had to experience over your career?
Oh yeah, I got one serious one-liner for you. Learn the publishing business.
Okay.
Don't lose sight of who owns your songs.
Yeah.
And when you write for the moment. Don't plan to write a song. Write for what you're doing at that moment. Write what's in your heart. When I sit down with people and they say, "Let's write a song together," they ain't got that kind of talent. Me and Skyler, we got that. But not too many people do. When I talk to kids today, I said, "Listen, don't sit down and set to write a song. Write for what's in your heart. Write for the moment."
Yeah.
That's one. Two, know the publishing business.
Yeah. Definitely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank
you so much.
Become a person for global change.
Most definitely. You know, the trippy thing is the record itself, the matter, that's called a mechanical, right? And when it gets to number one, that's far as it's gonna go. So it starts depreciating, going back to but not publishing, because that's on the radio for the rest of your life. I mean, it goes to show you, Joli is still getting paid from something his dad did.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Right. And you guys will, something happened to me, you guys will get, money that's happening with songs I've written for Al Jarreau and Eddie Murphy and all kind of people. But Tom, you got another question?
Only really what's next for you. Have you got anything that's kind of in the pipeline now that you're about to, any exclusives you can give?
I certainly do. And you know what it is? They're all right here at Universal Studios. My children are major talented. And from now on, I'm just going to live to make my children make their careers.
Yeah.
Super. Because it's all about my babies right now. I had my turn. And I was just saying last night while we were all four of them playing, all five of us playing music together. And I said, I had my turn. Y'all, I only had one finger, My children are the other 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a hand together, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure my babies are all right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really
cool.
great. Really appreciate it.
Really pleasure meeting you guys.
Right on, brother. Hey, namaste, my brother.
Namaste.
Namaste, man. Bless you.
Namaste.
Bless you.
Hey,
privilege your time.
Love and Bobby Sherman.
All the time.
I love you, Scott.
Enjoy Universal Studios.
Yeah, have fun. Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.